We're over halfway through the Rings of Power's first season and things are starting to heat up. For an elf and a human who were looked at with contempt from the day they set foot in Numenor, someone sure went through all the trouble of making them 2 suits of incredible armor. Halbrand was going to be dragged back to the Southlands whether he liked it or not. Galadriel needed him in order to continue her quest chain. Because of the sabotage by Pharazôn's son Kemen, the army headed to the Southlands to take on the orcs is significantly weaker than what was originally planned. This may have repercussions later when their army is facing off against a possibly larger force. Galadriel admits to Halbrand that she has a bloodlust. She's addicted to war, which has driven away the people around her. Is it fair to say they bond slightly over their shared search for absolution? By the end of the episode, they have made their apologies for using each other and have come to at least an agreement of mutual aid. They basically partied up. This party also includes Miriel and Elendil. I still see Elendil's son Isildur as a secondary character like his friends. However, it does feel like he's going to play some significant role in the story at some point. Even his best friends think he's useless, so he'll have to prove himself somewhere down the line. I found it interesting Queen Regent Miriel doesn't have the support of her father. She is setting sail on this quest based largely on faith in what she believes will save her city and her people. I was completely unaware that El's lives were tied to nature in some way. That they are now in danger of dying off as a species does force the issue with them a bit more. Elrond was put in what seemed to be a tough situation. But is it really? After learning the truth of why he was sent to see his old friend in the first place, coupled with the fact that his whole race is in danger, it didn't really look like Elrond had much of a choice. Yes, he wanted to keep his word to Durin. Yes, he gave a speech about oaths being of extreme importance. However, with the extinction of his species on the line, would he really keep his oath and just die? I doubt it. Elrond talks to Durin and will get Mithril from his mind, so he was able to keep his oath and help attempt to save his people. Bronwyn brings up an interesting point when she's talking to Arondir after half the people who were seeking shelter at the Watchtower left to go kneel and serve Adar in hopes of ensuring their survival. She questions whether humans are destined for the darkness, if ensuring their survival at all costs is who humans are. Could that be true? Could we as humans, when faced with our own survival, choose whatever path ensures we do not perish, no matter how horrible the option may be? We saw this with Waldrick, killing Rowan to prove his loyalty to Adar. Humans are not a monolith, we are not all the same. So while some would do whatever it takes to survive, and that number is greater than most of us would like to admit when faced with the situation, there are those of us who would choose the light over the darkness, as it were, even if it meant our end. As it certainly could mean the end for most of the people in the Watchtower. At least they now know what the orcs and Adar want after finding about the sword hilt. We could be in for some huge battles coming up in the later episodes of this season. I'm curious if this is a story where our main characters are actually in jeopardy of death, or if they will all be fine throughout the majority of the seasons of the show. Once you start to like characters, you don't want to see them killed off, but it does make for a more fascinating tale. Lastly, what does the stranger have to do with all of this? Who is he and what will his role be in the war in the Southlands? Surely he won't be pushing a cart all season. Let me know what you thought of episode 5 in the comments below.